It is Friday. It's the 6th of September. I'm Monita Rajpal. This is CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Making news today. A firm stance on the debate on Syria. European Union defense ministers have condemned Syria's use of chemical weapons. That's according to the Lithuanian defense minister's office. The ministers are holding a meeting in Lithuania while world leaders debate what action to take on Syria at the G20 in St. Petersburg. The U.S. believes something needs to be done in Syria, but others in the international community aren't so sure. We will take you live to the G20 in just a moment, but away from the debates, the heart of the crisis in Syria can be found along the borders, where more than 2 million people have fled their homes to save their lives. Syria's refugee crisis is growing by the day and adding pressure to the countries that are housing them. CNN's chief medical correspondent, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, joins us now on the phone from Lebanon's Bekaa Valley. Sanjay, paint a picture of where you are for us and what you're seeing.
We are literally just walking distance away from...
And of course, that's going to add to the kind of pressure that the resources, they may not be able to have enough of those resources in this already overflowing refugee camp.
I think that's absolutely true, and I'm trying to get an idea of exactly...
At one of the refugee camps along the border in Lebanon's Bekaa Valley. Well, as you picture that happening right now, the other side of the world leaders are into their final day at the G20, and so far there is little consensus on Syria. Jill Doherty joins us now from St. Petersburg with more on what's not happening there in St. Petersburg. Jill?
Right, Monita, you know, there's a great divide here on that issue of Syria.
And Jill, thank you very much for that. Jill Doherty there live for us from St. Petersburg. And a lot of this debate surrounding Syria is concerning the evidence that may or may not be there in terms of the use of alleged use of chemical weapons and who has been using them. Britain has now said that they have evidence that sarin gas was used in the chemical attack in Syria. CNN's Atika Schuber joins us now with more on that. And of course, just adding to that argument, Atika, is now these EU defense ministers saying they have that evidence too.
Yeah, what it seems is that various governments are lining up to say what they have in terms of evidence and, in their opinion, what happened on August 21st in Damascus. Let's take a look first at what Britain has said. Last night, the Prime Minister's office confirmed...
For that, Atika Schubert there live for us from 10 Downing Street in London. You are watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. Less than 12 hours and counting. Australia's political rivals make one last pitch for support ahead of Saturday's election. We're watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. I'm Monita Rajpal. In less than 12 hours, Australians go to the polls to choose their next Prime Minister. If opinion polls hold true, this man, opposition leader Tony Abbott, will become the man with the top job in just a few hours. And joining us now is Paul Murray, political commentator for Sky News Australia. He joins us now live from Sydney. Paul, thank you very much for being with us. Would Australians consider this a tough choice?
Not particularly. The country has broken pretty hard. The opinion polls here, role of an Australian politician, which is we like government to be boring, not a soap opera.
All right, Paul, thank you very much for that. Hopefully it won't be too boring this Saturday when the electorate go to the polls and actually vote in their new Prime Minister. Paul Murray there with Sky News Australia. Thank you so much for that. And do join... Let's bring you up to date on some of the other stories we're following for you here at CNN News Center. A state-run newspaper in Egypt is reporting that the government has decided to dissolve the Muslim Brotherhood as a non-governmental organization. Egypt's state-run news agency says the decision will be issued within days. This comes a day after a failed assassination attempt on Egypt's interior minister. No one has claimed responsibility for the attack. Militants have killed an Indian author famous for a memoir about her escape from the Taliban. Police say Sushmita Banerjee was shot outside her home in Afghanistan's southeastern Paktika province. Her body was found dumped outside a religious school in the provincial capital. She campaigned for a girl's right to an education, and later today in The Hague, Malala Yousafzai will be presented with the Dutch group Kids' Rights 2013 International Children's Peace Prize. The 16-year-old Malala Yousafzai is expected to give an acceptance speech. The Pakistani teenager inspired the world for her bravery despite being the target of Taliban gunmen last year. A hunter is to blame for a massive wildfire that threatened a U.S. treasure, Yosemite National Park. Investigators with the U.S. Forest Service says the hunter let an illegal fire get out of control weeks since it started. The fire has burned almost 96,000 hectares of land. Authorities have not named the hunter, pending further investigation. She captured the world's attention when she was alive, and now 16 years after her death, Princess Diana continues to generate intense interest. A controversial film starring Naomi Watts premiered in London on Thursday. Erin McLaughlin reports.
This is Diana.
Watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. You're watching CNN News Center live from Hong Kong. The 2012 U.S. Open champion, that's the 2012 U.S. Open champion, Andy Murray. Well, he won't be defending his title this year. He was eliminated on Thursday in straight sets in the quarterfinal round by three cities are in the running to host the 2020 Summer Olympic Games. They are Istanbul, Turkey, and the Spanish capital of Madrid, and Tokyo, Japan as well. On Saturday, they'll find out which city has been chosen. It's the first time that Istanbul and Madrid have ever bid for the event. As Ivan Watson reports, Istanbul is highlighting a unique selling point.
If Istanbul wins, it'll become the first majority Muslim city to host the Olympic Games.
Well, summer temperatures are still hanging across much of Europe, but change is on the way. Meteorologist Mari Ramos is at the World Weather Center. Couldn't last that long, could it, Mari?
Right? I hear it already. Everyone say, what happened to summer, right? Especially across the UK, because you've had a big change from today compared to yesterday, Monita. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of this stuff. Let's try to get...
All right, Mari, thank you very much for that. Now, back to our coverage of the Australian election, and America's favorite anchor, albeit a fictional one, Ron Burgundy has weighed in on the debate. In a shameless self-promotion for the new Anchorman 2 movie, Burgundy released this message.
Well, Australia, while the battle of the Titans has come to an end, we will...
Good times indeed, Ron. For that, we leave you with that. You are watching CNN News Center. I'm Monita Rajpal. Stay classy, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'll update you the news headlines in just a few minutes.